Hi there everyone, my name is Memo, this is my channel Houseplanty Goodness, and essentially it's a place where I like to geek out about my big passion, which is houseplants or tropical houseplants. You might be able to see my space around me and all the plants that I have, or some of the plants that I have in my collection currently. So today's topic is going to be slightly different, but before I dive into that, if you like videos like this, do drop a like down below. It tells me that you like more content like this and I can create a bit more, even though today's topic is a bit of an interesting one. And if you do have a plant collection, or if you're about to get into really getting into your house plants, or you've just got a house plant and you want to know a bit more about plants in general, do consider subscribing down below. I'll bring out content like this every week, about 2 to 3 times. So let's dive into today's topic. So some of you might have been able to see that on my Instagram, at least in the UK, I'm doing a giveaway now for reaching 1K. And I've got a few plants that I'm giving away on there. So if you want to be in with a chance for that giveaway, do check out my Instagram profile. It's Trojan King 9. And I'll put it in the description down below as well. But essentially the giveaway has rooted Begonia Amphioxus. It's got currently rooting, but essentially still a cutting, I think, at this stage. Melanocrism, large leaf, and then a variegated Alocasia gagiana. I'll see if I can put I don't know how it's pronounced. Basically, I've never heard it being pronounced. It was more something that I've only ever read. So variegated Alocasia, essentially, and painted lady Philodendron as well. Another cutting that I'm rooting out at the moment. So today's video, I thought I talked about the care that I had for these plants in my conditions. For everybody else, it's a bit more of a care video. For the people, or for the person who wins the giveaway, hopefully it will give you a bit of an insight as to what I did for these plants in my care. You can decide to do something similar, or you can decide to do something different, but it's good to know where these plants are coming from and how they were cared for beforehand. So starting off with the first plant, and this is a specific Begonia Amphioxus that's coming over. This is actually a Begonia Amphioxus that I have never had in a cloche or in a terrarium. It's always been in relatively high humidity, about 60% in a plant room, but you can probably push this and put it in regular household humidity as long as it doesn't drop way below 50. I have kind of trained them up to be like that. They grow a bit slower, but they're a bit hardier. Definitely a plant that you don't want to get any water or moisture on the leaves. It will kind of rot the leaves away, so try to water at the soil level. This is currently being watered about every 3 to 4 days in my care. It's getting plenty of bright and direct light, and it's getting fertilized every 2nd or 3rd watering at the moment. But really, really fun begonia. When it starts really taking off, it will take off and you'll be taking cuttings and rooting them out, no problem whatsoever. But yeah, Begonia Amphioxus. Now going on to the second plant. This is a plant that I may have shown in a previous video. I think it was also shared on YouTube. And this is the variegated Alocasia. So this was the other leaf that was coming out, and you can see some of the Polaroid variegation, which means that it comes in a really, really light brown, green, and then as it develops in the light, it becomes lighter, and you can see this is the newest leaf, and you get some nice creamy variegation. So, and there's a new leaf coming in there as well. This grows like mad. I might even need to repot it before I send it out to the giveaway winner. But being watered every 3 to 4 days as well. And if you are going to repot this, and I haven't had a chance to repot this, go for 1 or 2 sizes bigger, and maybe just pull back on the watering for the first week or 2 until you start seeing when it starts drying out. Don't let it fully dry out. If you do have a moisture meter, do use it. But this one has been one of the more forgiving alocasias, ironically enough. And the variegation is stable on this. You can see some of the older leaves, the variegation isn't quite as defined, but it's because it wasn't getting bright light. So the one thing I would say is if you like nice variegated leaves like that, bright light, as much as you can give it essentially. And as with most of my plants in my aeroid mix, I do have some slow release fertilizer in here. So kind of in terms of fertilizing every 2 to 3 waterings, now that we're coming into the growing season, you should be good. Right, next plant. So for the next couple of plants, the mother plants are too huge for me to kind of be carrying here, so I might just put a picture here whilst I'm talking so you can have a look. The next one would be the Philodendron painted lady, and it has got that nice kind of painted leaf essentially. It's a cutting, I'm rooting it as I said at the moment. It might even have roots by the time I send it out. But in terms of its care, where the mother plant is, it's in my airy aeroid mix again. It's in terracotta. It doesn't need an awful lot of higher than normal humidity. I had this in a very, very warm bathroom, which was never used as a bathroom, so the humidity wasn't very high. It was a very dry bathroom, ironically enough. It did fine. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. It gets watered every 6 to 7 days, depending on how much light it gets. But the more light you give it, obviously don't scorch it in like direct sunlight or a south-facing window. But the more light you get it, the more you'll get that pronounced kind of painted leaf coming through. Really, really not fussy plant. Possibly one of my easiest philodendrons to care for. Not one of the fastest growing, but definitely one of the easiest philodendron that I have to grow for. Not particularly fussy in the slightest. Gets watered every 6 to 7 days, fertilized every 2 to 3 waterings again. And the last one, and I'll bring a picture here, is the Philodendron Melanocrism. And I know some people struggle with this. Maybe I've been lucky with the plant that I originally got, but possibly again one of the easiest philodendrons I have. The cutting is relatively large leaf. I think it's about that large at the moment, but the mother plant's leaves are huge, so it does have the potential to get there as well. And aeroid soil mix as normal. There's a video on my channel on how I do my aeroid mix. And in terms of light, this I had it in a northeast facing window and it was doing fine. This was sitting in the winter above a radiator. It was that dry and it didn't really have any problems. I wouldn't suggest you do the same, but at the moment it's in a conservatory, so it does get some decent humidity and it really took off. Like previously it was growing okay in household humidity, but give it some extra humidity and it just went mad essentially. One of the reasons why I'm doing cuttings, because essentially it doubles its size in about a month essentially. But yeah, aeroid soil mix, terracotta I have it, or something that has a lot of aeration. Maybe you want to get the net pots or something like that, by all means. You can still probably get it in the plastic pot as well, just pour back on the watering so you don't end up rotting out the roots. And yeah, fertilizing every second or third watering now in the springtime. Bright indirect light would be his preference. If you can give it some extra humidity, great. If not, it will still do okay. But I think that's everything on these plants. As I said, a bit of a weird video because it's almost highly specialized to the person who might be winning the giveaway, but at the same time there's also some care advice for other people about these plants on this video. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I shall see you here soon. If you want to know anything more, any questions, comments, drop them down below. And yeah, have a great rest of your day and thanks. Bye.